So, ladies and gentlemen, Jamie Nudelman is about to come on and just rock your world in the area of viral video and marketing and growing your business. It's going to be a lot of fun, so definitely stay tuned. It is a powerful, powerful topic we're diving into, especially for you, the entrepreneur, influencer, coach. You want to grow your brand and make a bigger impact. Jamie's been on the show before, delivered massive value, so you definitely want to stay tuned. Before we dive into that, I'm talking to you because you are becoming your greatest possible self. You are plugged in right here, right now, and choosing to invest your time, your energy, your resources into becoming your GPS. So thank you for choosing this moment, this platform, and growing with us. And for all the other ways, habits, people, places that you go, you seek, you plug into, and you're growing yourself, just keep plugging in, because that's how you grow into your GPS. Surround yourself with greatness and you become greatness. Next up is the iTunes review of the week. This week it's by, let's put it up on the screen, DBlue702. Awesome podcast. Chris is one of the most passionate and driven people I know. His show is a must listen. DBlue702, thank you so much. I appreciate that feedback, and we love to see when people share your feedback with us, what you love about the show, what can be improved, and how we can make it even better for you in the future. So go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Greatest Possible Self on the Apple Podcast Store, and you can give us a review there. And also, keep tuning in. We love having you here, so make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button while you're there to keep getting all the latest updates, like this interview with Jamie and all the other epic guests who come on the show. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. I'm going to introduce Jamie in just a second. Before that, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen. Every time I have a call with this guy, he just gives fire, and I'm like writing down notes furiously for things to do, ideas and action strategies to implement, and he's a great guy. So you definitely want to stay tuned all the way through to the end, because one of these ideas has the power to change everything for you, for your life, for your business. Jamie Nudelman is a viral video creator and a lifestyle hacker. He helps seven-figure coaches, speakers, and influencers reach and impact more people with their message through social media and creative video storytelling. Jamie has worked with influencer brands such as Kinobody, UMZU, Shawn Wells, and has edited videos for Inner Light Media that have reached more than 4 million plus views. Jamie believes that in order to reach and impact the masses, it starts with mastering your mind and your daily habits as an entrepreneur. This is why he co-founded happinessbeyondbusiness.com with his partner, which is a movement and a show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs building a life even richer than their bank accounts. He's also a digital nomad and in search of his dream house currently with his partner. And Jamie, are you ready to rock the house, my man?
Yes, I am.
I
am
love
ready.
it. I love it, dude.
Oh,
We're
hey.
live. Like we're cooking up something special over here, my man. So we're live.
We
We're
are.
live on Become Your Greatest Possible
Nice.
Self, dude. I appreciate you taking the time and coming back onto the show again, because I know you got so much wisdom to share. We barely scratched the surface last time, so we're gonna dive even deeper this time, man. And the theme that we're starting off today with is a foundation of faith, man. What does that mean to you, a foundation of faith, Jamie?
I mean, it's staying true to yourself, right? Like we all have a living heart inside of us. The heart's a bit more disconnected than the brain, but it's really just staying true to yourself, right? Like it's very easy to tell what's ethical and unethical, and we know what's right and wrong personally in our life. So for me, it's just staying true to that.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So I mentioned a little bit about you and your viral video marketing in the intro, but just in your own words, tell us a little bit more about that. What do you stand for with viral video marketing? Like, why, man?
It's all about the story, right? Because every single human being has something to say. And whenever I was wherever I've been, right, whether it was in the health industry, being a trainer, a coach, an editor, a web dev, just anybody, right? It was always coming back to the story of who you are, because there's always something to tell, and that's how people feel more connected to you. It's what you explain. It's what you get to the bottom of, because there's always that driving force. So that's the big the key pillar here, the story, and then feeling and emotion. But I'm very much I'm one of the lower percent in that bracket of people who are very sensitive and very, I can pick up emotions from people. I can feel what people feel.
Yeah.
And so I've always been able to go into a room and be like, wow, there's something here. And I'm always like that. So I always prefer to create things from that sense of understanding of emotion and feeling. It's a bit a different way. Maybe being rational, I wouldn't be able to do it because I was never rational my whole life. And, now I'm starting to learn that, right? It's
It's
kind
so
of cool
it's
how it
so
works.
it's so
Yeah.
interesting, man, because like when we've talked before, I feel like you're so strategic and you're so logical in your approach and how you do things. And it's like it seems technical. It seems like you break the steps down, and you also
Oh
have
yeah.
this empathetic, intuitive, emotionally connected side of you. And I'm like, man, that's so interesting. What I perceive, and then also what you perceive, and also just where things meet together. It's super cool, man.
Yeah, it is, and I think you have to be process driven, or at least, I mean, only certain people are. I'm very process and system driven
Yeah,
if I need to be, but it's being able to hone in on what you're good at, right? Like
yeah.
that's what I've recognized that I'm good at. I mean, I think we spoke on this on our last on the first podcast we
Mhm.
did, how everything's all systematic, how there's
Yeah.
always like a step by step process, conditioning, and or, but that's just the way I run things too. But
Yeah.
it still comes back to emotion.
Yeah, beautiful. So, just to catch everyone up, they can go back and listen to that first episode. But just briefly, man, what was your journey to getting into viral video marketing? How did you get to where we are today?
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, I've always been doing this stuff. I mean, back when I've been in the digital media space ever since it became the term digital media,
Hmm.
and it was actually prior back in 2006 when would make like form signatures and stuff in Photoshop, like the original Photoshop software
Yep.
back in those days. Feels like yesterday. Funny enough, I was like what 14, 15, and it took me through this whole process of always being a creative. I wasn't like a graphic designer with that creative mind where I could just think of, abstract designs and make things with what someone wants, but I can always take what's there and make it better. I can improve
Yes.
upon what it already exists, right? And that's why I'm so good as, let's say, an integrator or an implementer behind the scenes of someone's grand vision, right?
Hmm.
Because they're the SpongeBob with the freaking rainbow, right? But I know, right? But then I'm the guy behind, just like doing this thing. You'd be surprised how much the visionaries really need an implementer or an integrator
Mm.
because they just suck at tech,
Yep.
or they're good at tech, but they don't want to deal with it because it drains them faster, and then
Yeah.
selling makes them operate better. So the viral video marketing came from when I was a health coach and a personal trainer. I was, well, guess what? Doing my own graphic design. I was doing
Hmm.
my own website creation. And funny enough, I was a web dev prior, front end web dev. Self-taught myself languages, right?
Hmm.
It's part of that exploration. I think as an entrepreneur, you have to explore things. You have to take it into your own hands to be confident enough to say, hey, if I don't know how something works, I'm going to go figure it out instead of going to the support thread and waiting 3 days for a response if I can't
Mm.
find a button to click. So you got to kind of save yourself here. And then that was the big lesson too, is that like learning code and language makes you more intelligent to figure out these process driven steps, going back to what we just spoke on about systems and processes.
Yeah.
But the viral video stuff came from my fitness business. I used to film everything. I had a vlogging channel. I was just focused on making videos and helping people, providing value, and creating content for Instagram, Snapchat, and taught myself how to be comfortable on camera.
That's
And
awesome.
I have a lot of energy built up right now because you and I both like we come together, and it's just like a Kundalini experience, like honestly. But every time there's always this energy I feel, right?
Yes.
So I mean, you may notice I'm very like it's like there's just a lot flowing through me right now, so I'm all over the place. But
Well, it's also it's
normally,
related to
yeah,
that energy that you feel from other people. Like I'm very energized. I'm able to transfer
I
my
feel you
energy
here.
into people, and so those who are sensitive to it, they're like, "Man, Chris, you're juicing me up."
You're one of the few people I talk to, and I feel like this like vibration. It's like when you do breath work, you kind of feel it in
Yeah,
your gut. I feel it here, like it's like vibrational. So it's pretty
dang,
cool how that works.
that's awesome,
Entanglement.
man. I love it.
But that's how it happened. And then I actually started going into video marketing,
Mm,
and I actually put both. It was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but then I
mm,
stepped in with both. And in 2019, I directly niched down into it. Actually, it was right after our first podcast.
yeah.
It's happened a month later.
That's awesome.
So
That's
yeah.
so cool. I find when I have opportunities to like speak or share my message or create
Mhm.
content, create videos, whatever it might be, create courses, I feel like I get a lot of clarity on who I am and what my message is and what feels right and what doesn't feel right. Like I feel like I get more grounded in who I am, and the next thing that I create, next project will be more, I'll be more aware of like what's important to
Mhm.
me, what are the values that I want to bring, what are the skills or experiences from the last project or the last iteration that I want to bring forward with me. So it's like that mode of learning, and I feel like interviews I'm able to do that as well.
Yeah, totally feel you on that one.
Yeah. Dude, that's badass, man. So with your journey, you're a health and fitness coach. You love doing videos yourself. I'm curious. We have a lot of entrepreneurs as well out there who are finding their passion, their purpose. You did a lot of experimentation, adventuring as well. Is it
Yep.
simply noticing what we tend to gravitate towards, what we tend to just do naturally? Is that what you would recommend for people to be looking for when finding their sweet spot of their skills and their gifts?
If it comes down to if it comes down to entrepreneurship and doing
Mhm,
what you love,
mhm,
you got to kind of do both the good and the bad. Like if you like, I've learned that if you want to be doing this thing, but you know that it's not impossible, but it's very difficult to make it work now and have money or to whatever the scale is, you might have to do the thing you don't want to do just so you can get there.
yeah.
And one of the things I realized for a long time was that I didn't want to see a video or because I was so obsessed with health.
Mhm,
And I know last time I was kind of introduced as this health expert. I go by lifestyle hacker now because, I like to do some of the biohacking stuff.
yeah.
My personality type, we can go into that later. I don't know if we'll touch on that. I'm very driven by routines.
Mhm,
If I don't have a routine, if I don't have a checklist, if I don't have references to things, I don't operate. And
mm,
if I miss one thing, I'm not going to be a happy camper.
mm,
So, so for me personally, as an entrepreneur, people like me, very back end systematic approach, we need routines. So I would say that you got to go through the experimentation of doing something you don't want to do, but then having another way to find happiness and joy in your reality. And for me, it's routines. It's waking up and having silence. It's
mm,
maybe meditating. Although I've been kind of pushing away from that lately because you know, I like trying new things, right?
yeah,
If you have a belief, right, on something that you have seen or someone has, influenced you on, just try it.
yeah.
What I don't like is when people go somewhere and they get stuck with looking at, let's say, 10 different directions and then they're stuck. And then someone else comes in and says, hey, do you realize you're following 10 different people and it's all different pieces of advice and you're sitting there and like they're sitting there watching you run in circles? That's the kind of problem. You just need to start with one thing.
Mm,
And the book, The One Thing, is like one of the biggest books I always advise. It was the first business book I ever wrote, or at least not wrote, read. Oh my
mm,
God. See, now I'm taking credit for that. It's the first book I read. I can't believe I said I wrote that. Maybe I did. And it allowed me to recognize that we need to get more narrow focused on just what we're focused on. And if
mm,
we don't do that, we
mm,
get distracted. So that to me is just the flow state of going after what you want, but recognizing that if what you want is not directly possible in this moment in time, you might have to settle for doing something else in the meantime so it can help support you to get there. And that's a little bit of realism. It's like a negative reinforcement because some people think life is shiny, and it can be,
mm,
but you have to earn it.
yeah.
A lot of people think it's easy now, and social media has been a big mask on that. So I've been sort of veering and changing my perspective in the way I talk about this in a way where it's like, hey, you can have these things, but you have to do the work. For some reason, the work has been shown to be a lot easier than it really is. When it's
Yeah.
not really that easy. It takes a lot of grit, a lot of
Mm.
strength, a lot of trial and error. So that's kind of the perspective I come from with this, and I enjoy it because it's realism, and
Yeah.
that's what we all need.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. So that's
That's
some great advice for the people who are just starting out. Is really find what you want to be masterful at. Another good
hmm
book I love is So Good They Can't Ignore You. It talks about these practices and habits and like systematic tests and experimentation you
yep.
develop on how do I maximize this skill? What is the one skill or one discipline, one habit that I want to build that will get me to my 10,000 hours as quickly as I possibly can, like whatever that is. And it's like really that mastery, that conversation of mastery. I think that has
hmm
been lost over time. And if people can simply say, hey, I'm willing to invest my full energy and effort into the mastery of whatever this is. It might be videos, might be copywriting, might be digital marketing, might be coaching, might be sales calls, whatever it is. Like a lot of people know what their weak point is in their business. If we simply take a
hmm
couple seconds to look, like really, we all have the answer within us. And that was a really great book for it, combined with The One Thing, which is more of like a long-term plan and an objective like way to look at, am I hitting and leveraging the thing that's going to make the biggest difference as far as milestones and projects and things that will move the needle forward.
Yeah, and I love that explanation too, because like that's a good summary on it too, because that's what it takes to get there. It's
Yeah.
trial and error. It's having fun. It's remembering that you might have to put in 16-hour days for 2 days of the week just to make this thing work, and then you could
Yeah.
dial it back a bit. I mean, it really depends. Some
Yeah.
folks just like to be busy. Some folks
Mm.
just like to work 2 hours a week. I mean, look, if you work 18 hours a week, you have to learn the code. If you work 6 hours a week, even less 2 or 4 hour work week, listen, you have to cope still. It's like
Yeah.
owning a lot of things versus not owning a lot of things.
Yeah.
Minimalism versus materialism. You still have to learn to cope with that. And it's a lesson on both sides of the equation.
Wow, dude, I love it. It's
Yeah.
very, very enlightened perspective, which I love about you, Jamie. Let's dive into
Thanks.
viral videos because I know that's what we really want to dive into today. What makes a viral video, and we might have some people who have done marketing before. We might have some coaches who are have like successful businesses as well, and they're doing well. They have clients, but they just don't know what's going to take their notoriety, their exposure, their impact to the next level. Let's start having a conversation with them, man.
Yeah, I mean, I work specifically with the coaches, the speakers, the influencers, and I've done a lot more of the like the story driven, like the viral stories, the videos that are very fast paced. They pull you through, cinematic sometimes, documentary driven, and really, it's not the type of video you're making. It's down to the messaging of what you're trying to get across, and it's the outcome too. You have to understand that the best video on the market can still not convert if it's not written properly, if the messaging's not right, if there's not enough of a strategy and the script's just poor. If it looks amazing, that's one thing, but it's also what makes it drive virality. That's why when you see influencers like Prince EA, you see a full blown cast and crew and you see an entire story being told. And it's done in a picture view way where he takes you, the viewer, through an experience and relates it through. I think Jay Shetty does the same thing too. And it's interesting. And you see this with all these folks because that's how they make it. But one of the big things is if we touch on one example, like a story video, what's really happening there? You're trying to get the viewer to understand, who you are or who your company is or what it is you're trying to get into their head and have them relate to. It's emotions, it's feelings, it's the things I spoke on earlier, because if I can understand emotions and feelings so well, then maybe the person who wants to make a viral video also has emotions and feelings and that what they feel is what their audience is going to feel too. So it's like understanding what the audience, it always comes back to audience, by the way. Like it's
Mm.
it's simple things. It's the same thing as running ads. It's the same thing as making a sales page. It's audience. So that doesn't change.
Yeah.
But what happens is the way you make the video. It's the way you get the right clips. A good comparison is it's like you doing a video of you sitting on the couch telling a story for 4 minutes. I'm pretty sure that's going to get really boring quickly. Compared to you have 5 different shots. It's done in a way where you start by telling the outcome of what you had done. You kind of list what the success you've had. Then you take them back and you tell them through what it was like. You make it emotional.
Mhm.
You dress up. You change your outfit. You go to a place that can remind you, but also pull them through what it was like to be in a place where you didn't have A, B, C, or D,
Mm.
and then you slowly build back up to what it was like. And you have these crucial critical points of where it was the hardest, and you know that it'll be very relatable to that audience, right? And then over time, you can add testimonials, social proof, and obviously this all comes down to scripting, right?
Yeah.
So this is a very generic kind of framework, but you start with what you have, and then you take them back through and lead them to what the outcome is, and have a call to action.
Yeah.
So that's one way of looking at making a video go viral. Sometimes videos go viral different ways. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the viewers here have seen some of the big popular videos, like what's it called? Dr. Squash had a video. They actually hired a comedian to write their actual script. Um, and it's like they outsourced the entire thing as an e-commerce company because it's so amazing. Because for them, they couldn't do it. They're like, let's hire this comedian. He'll write the script. We'll bring in the production crew and we'll film it.
Mm.
And I watched it. I'm like, they just had some props. It's like a Dollar Beer Club video, Dollar Shave Club style, where it's just you're making it funny. And even then, that style is like the Old Spice commercials, like
Mm.
Terry Crews. Like Terry Crews is a character, right? So when you
Mhm.
see him on there, he's like bouncing the pecs and
Yeah.
stuff, and like screaming, and like some people are like, whoa. But the men were what Old Spice is like. If a woman wears Old Spice, I mean, I don't know, but like maybe it's the smell. But that's what attracts them, right? There's an
Yeah.
audience. So that's what I think it comes down to. It's knowing the audience first, and then
Mhm.
knowing how to build and structure the video with the right formatting and sequence so that it looks amazing, has great sound, and it feels good enough where you can pull them in and get them to actually say, yeah, I want that. I want to feel that. I want to sense that. They got the tingle up the spine. Their hairs are like lifted, the cold effect, right?
Dang.
So yeah, I'll pause
That's
it
what
there.
I feel like. That's what every creator, influencer, coach wants to have happen is have that tingle in the spine, have the person on the other end say wow, you get me, or wow, like I gotta take whatever action there is to take, I gotta follow this person, I gotta stay connected, I gotta message whatever it is, whatever that outcome is. It's like that's what we all
Mhm.
want, is to have responsiveness, is to have that intimate connection and feeling of what we're doing is working, what we're doing
Yep.
has traction. I feel a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people are putting out content and not seeing that response to their content. So I think that that's something that we can dive even more into, is like what are some mistakes that people might be making with the content that they're creating, the videos that they're trying to put out, the messaging that they have. Because I know you mentioned a couple different things there. Not knowing their
Yep.
audience, that's probably like one of the biggest ones. If they don't know clearly who they're talking to, specifically who that person is, what their pain points are, what keeps them up at night, I think that's like one of the biggest things. Is there anything you want to add to that, or what else do you think is a big effect?
I mean, there's a lot, and I know some of the things I do speak about are very generic in terms of like marketing, if you already understand it. And usually it goes into frameworks, right?
Mhm.
So I can run you through a quick 5-step framework my partner and I use in our business, like in our business.
Okay.
She runs a video marketing business as well, and when I stepped into video, we kind of connected. And funny enough, she actually, side note, she wrote down in a journal about a year and a half ago, like, I want to find someone. I want my next partner to be like involved with video and editing and be able to help me with my business on the back end. And that's like kind of weird how that's happened. So I
That's
run that whole
awesome.
show. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's just neat. But the framework that we use, it's like the 5 C's of conversion, and it's
Okay.
it's really simple. And there's no order; like you can just make whichever order you want. But the way it works is these are the things you need for a video. And the first one is credibility, right? Like if you're a health coach, if you're like a doctor, you have a PhD, if you're somebody who has great feats, your credibility and your authority is going to position you the right way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're going to feel like a fraud. And guess what happens when you record a video and you feel negative or off about yourself? You don't feel good enough. Some people have personality types where they don't feel good. I'm a good example.
Mhm.
I'm an overthinker. I'm a perfectionist. And even if I know I'm good, let's say I use myself, let's say I know I'm good at video marketing and viral videos, which I am, sometimes I feel like I'm crap at it.
Mm.
How many entrepreneurs feel that way
Yep.
about what they do?
Yep.
Because they don't see themselves from a third person perspective, because they're always living inside themselves, because they only know themselves, right? So the first thing is credibility. It's knowing that you're credible. It's knowing that you hold authority. It's knowing that you don't sound like a fraud and that you can be recognized for the work that you do. Very important. Um, the next one I'd say is connection. It's content that is relatable to the audience already that we talked about. But going further on that is you have to know what they actually do and feel, and how they think, and what kind of activities they do, and then what it's actually like to go through with that. Because sometimes you don't know the audience and you think you do. You have to actually find them and talk to them. And I can tell a story later about how my other half, Katya, and I, we came together and built we took a product recently 2 weeks ago and took it viral as well.
Mhm.
That landed us over 1,000 customers in a matter of 2 weeks on a pre-sale. So I could talk about that later. It's not video related, but it ties into content. It's pretty
Mhm.
cool. But it's again connection. Do we understand what the need is, and do we see it on their feed? Do we see it through their words? It's almost psychology driven. Read through the lines. Like think of it. Question what they say. Find people's posts out of your audience and say, "Huh, what does this actually mean, though?" Right? Because some
Mhm.
people are hinty, but then
Yeah.
some people are direct. Some will probably say, "Well, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I like that chair there, or I don't know if I like that thing there." Well, does that mean they clearly that's a hint to move it, but they're
Mhm.
not saying, "Hey, can you move that chair?" So very important to recognize that and look through the lines.
Yeah.
And the next one is confirmation, right? It's like it's validating your ideas too. Like if you're making a video, you want to make sure what you're talking about is validated by the people. Like, do they want it? You know how people say, "I'm going to make a course to launch it."
Yep.
Wait a minute. What? No, no, no. You want to pre-sell and see if people out there are going to say, "Yo, man, I want that thing." And the same applies with like it's so true, right? Because
Yeah.
then you waste 3 months of your time making something, and then you're like even more disappointed after you spend a month trying to promo it, and everyone's like, "Dude, No. So it's not it's understanding that there's a confirmation that people want it,
So
because
let
no
me
one
pause
wants it. It's a
on
problem.
those first three because I
Yeah.
think they're powerful. I want to make sure people are writing these
Sure.
down because this is gold.
Yes.
Credibility is the number one. So
Hmm.
do you feel in yourself that you are credible? Do you know in yourself that you are credible? Do the results that you're able to create for other people, does that come to mind when you are recording videos? Like, does that all in place? And do you have the testimonials? Do you have those things? And do you have the certifications or whatever it might be? Track record, I think, is the best measure of credibility. Is, did I produce results for other people? Like, go get people results. And I know a lot of people who we're talking to today have those results already. So is that present for you?
Perfect.
Is that in your awareness when you're creating content and doing these things? The second one is going to be the connection. Like, are you actually connected with your audience? Do you know what their pains are? Do you know what the conversation is that's going on in their mind, in their head, in their heart? Like, what is coming up on their feed? And I love how you said, Jamie, like, to really question it, to ask, what does this mean? What does this point to? What are they saying here? What are they not saying here? Right? Like, what
Hmm.
is not coming out on their feed that should be from our expert opinion? For like marketing, you see people, they're constantly posting about their dog. It's like, like, do you post about your business? Are you marketing your business? Do you need some help with that? So I think a lot of people are more successfully marketing their business, but that's just something I think a big challenge in a lot of social media is people are not consistent with marketing and doing those right things. So look at what's being said, what's not being said, with that connection piece, and then confirmation, getting that validation beforehand, pre-selling, finding out if people really want it, getting on the phone with people, having a beta program, whatever it might be, to have people like go through it and test it and say, yeah, I'm willing to pull out my credit card, I'm willing to pay for it, so that we can get that assurance. Hey, I'm
Hmm.
not going to spend all this time putting the content together for a program that nobody's actually going to buy. So sell it first with the audience in mind.
Yeah, and that's so crucial too. Like all of that, the way you explained it, it's very very important. And I mean, those are just three simple things that I'm sure we've all been told before. But it's the way you look at things. It's the
Mm.
way you analyze information and data, and you kind of you literally have to do it that way.
Yeah. And what you do, I think that takes it to the whole next level. It's like, great, write down each of those. We're on 3 out of 5 C's, and the process and the system of how do you do that? How do you execute on those? That's what they come to you for, Jamie, so they can find out, hey, what is the checklist? What is the step-by-step procedure to make sure that these things are in place? To you and Katya, to get these 5 C's in place, man. So those are the first three. Let's go into the fourth one, man.
Yeah, totally. And those three are so valuable. The fourth one, and it could be either. It could be. I always say the fourth one is conversation too.
Mm,
It's like you want to create conversations in your industry by bringing the attention to your work. So if you're good at something, if you're a really well-known award-winning health coach or trainer, and you're going online, let's say, or you're just somebody who's getting more spotlight now
mm,
on the online world, you got to create more conversation around that. People have to come and see you. You have to talk to folks. You have to learn to understand them. You need to bring it out there. You need to get the conversation started. Get those folks to engage with you, talk, leave a comment, tell you how they feel, what they want. That goes back to the confirmation bias too. It does tie in because then you know if they want it or not, right?
yeah.
I think human to human interaction is the only way to make sales. It's the only way to make sales. People think there's like a weird magical tactic, and I could say that there are ways to. There's like a default basic understanding of psychology with selling. I get it, or anything in that space. But at the end of the day, people aren't buying automation. They're buying human interaction.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with video, you know? That's why there's a feeling and emotional connection when you talk on camera.
Mm,
That's why video is so powerful now. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg talks about how video is going to be so blown up in the next couple of years, right?
wow.
So it's not going to slow down. People are going to start selling just by video. That the whole platform will be driven by video. There'll be no more text.
Mm,
I mean, but there's obviously that's sidetracking, and there's a benefit to both. But
yeah.
keep it here. It's just that shows how powerful going on a camera is because you can feel emotion. You can see what's real and not real. It's like getting a phishing email versus getting a video. You're like, I trust the guy in the video, or I can tell he's real or not real, right? You
Right.
can tell what's fake and not fake.
Yeah. So that's the
So
fourth
that's
one, conversation. What's number 5, man?
and five is what we always need to dial in is our call to action. right?
Mm.
There's so many things we can do with a call to action. It's the right action that people say yes to, without you being pushy or spamming. Like, how many people try and force feed things down your throat, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa! I just clicked the thumb button. Whoa, wait a second. Where's the human? It's like when someone sends you a group in Messenger, and it's like, whoa, I just added you as a friend. Wait a
Yep.
second. If we were at a coffee shop, this is like you pouring coffee in my laptop and flipping the table over, and then and
Mm.
asking me to go out with you or something, or like to go on a walk. It doesn't make sense. It's just unusual patterning.
Mm.
So that's the big thing. Is your call to action in your video the right call to action that people can say yes to because the video told the right story and
Mm.
took them down this path of emotionally feeling connected. And then did that give them the feeling and the sense of urgency to be like, yo, I need to start a conversation. I need to message this guy. And then he's going to go on Instagram and be like, hey, glad you loved the video. Tell me some more about this. What's going on? What part did you like? And
Mm.
then they're like, wow, this guy is he's just a real person. Well, yeah, that's what we all are. So
Mm.
that's the magic there. That's the 5 C's. Put those all together and it works.
Dude, I love it. I love it. And so with these 5 C's, where do you feel people are making the biggest mistakes with implementing all of these, especially already successful business owners and coaches? Where are they falling short on, especially using these in video?
I mean, successful is I think successful is a generic word. I mean, like if someone's already, if they have a proven business model, it can almost be anywhere because they have to validate everything too. Like
Yeah.
validate the call to action. But if they're already getting sales, well, then that's not really the issue. It could be
Mm.
the way they connect with their audience. Usually, it's a connection thing. It's making sure that it's tied to the audience and that the audience is reciprocating the right response because they obviously have the right confirmation that it's the right thing to make. But if it's a coach who's launching a new program or a speaker who's trying to talk about a certain topic to get the right feedback on stage, or they want a credibility reel, which I also do. I've been doing a lot of those lately. We'll touch on that soon because it is viral. It is viral because it does get you the positions to become more known, right?
Yeah.
More radio views, more on stage presence. You get a TED talk, and the list goes on, right? So basically, it comes down to that essentially. It's making sure what you talk about is actually right and it's connecting. So I'd say confirmation is very important, but it's also connection.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
credibility, I mean, you know if you're not credible or not. Like you know if you have to be credible or not in an industry. It's like if you're a lawyer or if you're a renowned accountant, you must have a background to do that. But if
Mm.
you're just someone who teaches and coaches people, the only way you can have that credibility is if people talk you up and your results speak for it, as in testimonials, social proof, X amount of sales brought in. I made $100,000 thanks to this guy coaching me for like 2 weeks or a month, right?
Mm.
It depends on what it is, but that's the main framework. And those two I think are very, very important:
Yeah.
connection and confirmation.
I love it. I love it, man. You did mention those demo reels, sizzle reels for speakers.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit more about why that is important and how does that relate to a viral video in the sense of putting some content out there that's share worthy that people love to share with their friends and say, hey, this was valuable. It really impacted me. They share it, they like it, they engage with it, they comment,
Mhm.
and something like a sizzle reel or a demo reel.
Yeah, I think there's different types of them, by the way. I'll talk about that. You have like your highlight credibility reel. You have your testimonial social proof reel,
Mm.
which is interesting. And then it's normally just that. Otherwise, it depends on the industry. The ones I've only worked on that I'll talk about are like speaker reels, people who have PR and media, who want
Mm.
to get more positioning, right? If you're someone who goes on all these different podcasts, just like this one, and you're
Yeah.
talking about a certain topic and you have the credibility, goes back to that, you have your connection, your confirmation, like everything's set up,
Yeah.
and you can have those conversations, have a call to action, you can make a reel that looks amazing. Russell Brunson, for instance, from ClickFunnels, has an amazing reel that talks about his business growth with ClickFunnels, and it's amazing because it's different than just showing a bunch of clips of you on stage.
Mm.
Because you'll see credibility reels where it's just audio's off, this one's too loud, this one's quiet, it wasn't done by the right editor. I just finished working on a reel for a keto and biohacking expert, and it's amazing because he has so much media PR. It's
Mm.
insane to me. Um, and he's known as like the world's greatest formulator because he does so much, supplement formulation. So there's so much material to pull into this thing. So I had to sit there and say, hey, how can I make this story driven, but
Yeah.
also and done in a way where it shows the best stuff
Mm.
and then ties in with his business. So because I was able to understand him and understand his audience and go through this process where we were able to make something that actually people enjoy, is 3 minutes or less, tells the important pieces and drives the right call to action to get him more speaking gigs, get him more publishing, opportunities on blogs and articles, and to even give him more podcasts, right?
Hmm.
Time slots with these big podcasts
Yeah.
that will get him millions of hits and downloads. So that's what I'll say on that. I'm still experimenting with it, but I'm confident that you need to find the right person who can get you a credibility and sizzle reel that makes the most sense for you and your brand and business. That's very different each time.
What should a professional coach, speaker, influencer, what should they look for when hiring someone who is doing video reels, demo reels, sizzle reels, as well as viral videos? What should they look for?
I mean, I always tell people if you're going to go down, like, because obviously there's the route of hiring just an editor,
Hmm.
which is like your hourly based editor. You go to Upwork.com, Fiverr, whatever, right? That's cool. I get it. You want to find someone who's really good at producing video, someone who has the track record, the experience. And I understand a lot of people because I've talked to a lot of editors and the videographers, and I get it. And it's like this in any field, even training, even coaching. You have to have your first place to start in doing your free work, then build up your portfolio, then become someone of credibility and authority, right? Same concept here. You want to find an editor, more so a video creator who understands strategy, scripting, positioning, and almost all of marketing. It's like finding a custom CMO for yourself, right? Someone
Yeah.
who's able to drive someone. Here it is. This is how I sell it too.
Yeah.
I do not like working, and I talk about myself here, but it's somebody though who wants to work with your vision and your mission.
Mm.
You want someone who is invested not just in the result of making $2,000 or $3,000 from you.
Yeah.
It's understanding that, hey, where is this person going, and can I do I relate myself to that, and do I have the ability to help them move the needle forward there? And a good
Mm.
example is one reel I've done with the fellow I just gave an example on. I'm from the health space.
Right.
So I know exactly what he's talking about and doing. So I don't have to go to Google every 5 minutes and research things and break my leg over that. And I understand what it's like to push a health message. I know what it's like to suffer from or to feel pain. So I emotionally can connect to him. And it's also, if you're an emotional feeling person, find someone who understands that. If you're a visionary who has a big vision and a big mission and you know what you want to do in the world and you're a change maker, but you need someone who can just take that and apply it and you don't know how to make the video good, get someone who can integrate on that, but also wants to do it with you.
Yeah.
That's the main point I'm trying to make. So yeah.
So it's more like you want to find someone who is so bought into what you do, the values, how you do it, your company, that it's almost like they
Yeah.
become a part of your company while still, being their own entity, their own consultant, doing whatever they want to do, their own hours, how they want to work, but they are aligned. You can feel because of their story, because of who they are, how they spend their time, the type of people that they work with, that they get you, and it's not going to be extra work to try to get them up to speed on who you are and why you do the things that you do, as compared with anyone else, so to speak. It's like someone who's already in the fast lane saying, just share with me what you want, I'll help you catalyze that
Yeah.
into a tangible product.
Yeah. Because for me, when I help people with like I sometimes try and sell it this way too. It's like if you have a lot of content and you're not doing anything with it and it's collecting dust,
Mm.
we need to connect because it's like if I don't understand, and as well, if I don't understand based on that too, what they're trying to get, like what their goals are,
Mm-hmm.
I can't really help them.
Mm.
If someone comes to me and says, I just want to make a couple videos, I'll be like, okay, but like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to understand where you're going with it. So yeah,
Mm.
you said it right too. Like that's what it's about.
I love it. I love it, man. This is great stuff. And for everyone who's tuning in right now, definitely be taking notes on this. This is so powerful. And Jamie, when people are going for a viral video, what does it look like to market successfully a viral video? Because I'm sure there's a ton of different strategies on how to like get the word out and promote it. And you can do Facebook ads, you can do traffic, you can do organic. Like, where do people start with a strategy for that?
It really depends, right? Because you need to have the audience, and
Mm-hmm.
the organic marketing only works if you have the right engaged following that will spread the word for you, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that won't get you as far. The Facebook ads definitely does make a big difference. And my other half she used to actually run a business before we met called, I think it's called a viral video funnel, where it was like one video that it was back in a different model of Facebook ads back then. The industry's changed now. You need more pieces of content to spread and push your message. So having just one powerful video is not enough. And that's now today. But if you can make a video that is so powerfully connecting to your audience and have like a story video, a credibility video, a mission video. I actually have a list here that I can reference because my mind's never going to remember it all. Because I'm all over the place sometimes. No, like here it is. Like if you have a my story, so we did a launch actually for in September, and it's having like a my story video talking about what you've been through, but then it's also having, let's say, like a viral video that is so like emotionally and deeply connected on a different plane, but then having just a VSL video that sells the product. Like those are three different things. But what if you have a methodology to explain within your company, like your process and system? Here's the framework of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or here's my three things here are my three pillars. You know, you see companies who have like video series. But it's about where you market them to. So I don't have a direct formula in terms of step by step 100%, because it depends on the business. But I will say that you want to have different pieces of content that you could spread across the Facebook ad platform and run it through. Even YouTube's worth exploring, I think. Instagram too. But it's knowing how to drive the traffic with that. Instagram is more fast-paced. Facebook, you'll catch more eyes. LinkedIn is more B2B, I find. And then obviously, again, it comes back to if you're a coach, speaker, consultant, influencer, etc. Insert title. But yeah, so, and then I guess last would be testimonial and social proof. Like you can actually have like a highlight reel of that quickly for like 2 to 3 minutes, where it's like this person says this, this one says that, you know. So it's quite a lot of things there. But really, you want to have 3 to 5 very, very powerful pieces that you can run, split test, you know, try different versions, have a square version, a 1:1 aspect ratio, maybe a 4:5 for Facebook, square for Instagram, that's what I was referring to, a rectangle version, right, like a YouTube size version, 16:9. But yeah, that's what I have to say on that specifically.
That's awesome, man. So let's say someone has an event coming up and they want to use videos to promote the event. What would be the ordering that you would recommend for them to release videos for the event? In an ideal world, what do you think the sweet spot would be for types of videos to release and when to release them?
Is this for someone who's running an event for the first time, or someone who's already successfully had like a 30 to 50 to 100 person event?
Yeah, let's say someone who's already had a successful event before, got testimonials before doing it again.
So obviously, so I'll touch on both parts. If it's someone new, so I just had someone come on who's asking me about this yesterday, funny enough. Make a quick just portrait video and test it. Run ads immediately, depending on your timeline. If you have, usually it's like you want 3 to 6 months in advance to fill it, but just so you have that time to fill the gap. But if you're rushed, just get the ads out there and test it. But if you've already successfully done it, you want to look at previous feedback and previous footage of your events, and you want to find people who can come together and make like quick compilation videos showing all the action with like the inspirational business music, corporate music, something that's actually catching. There's some videographers out there that will actually put together videos that just flash through everything. It's like 2 minutes long. You can use content like that to push through, and that content can also have social proof, which you can either have it in the, you know, once your intro piece of the video goes, you can have someone talking about the event experience, and that's showing more like B-roll and stock footage of their experience themselves. So usually when you do an event, you set it up in a way, or most people who do these, so I've never run an event, but they set up like testimonial areas. They do testimonials to the people attending, so you have proof of how the event was. But you run through those testimonials through the video, and you show it during the experience. The person who's editing or putting together this video, you want them to be somebody who can feel the emotion and can understand the messaging, because the testimonial proof from the people, from the attendees, is what's going to sell it too, because that's real proof. But also you can have faster ads that are like 30 seconds long. They can source the location, drone view, right? So there's many different avenues with that as well, that even I would do. And then even just quick ones where it's just like flip through the event. If there's like a booklet or a page view or like a sales page of it, you know, you can be really creative where you have a page where it scrolls down and elements are coming in from the left on a transition, text is flying through, the music's a lot more engaged, not that business style, but more so like, you know, rock, alternative, aggressive. It depends on who it is too, by the way. If it's a female event, I don't think rock's going to touch their soul unless it's like country music. They're from the South or something.
Right.
I once had to go to a concert there in Texas. It was fun. I fell in love with country for some reason.
I
But
love
yeah,
it.
you can tell I have a lot to say on it, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's that preference. If they have an event already, it's taking what you captured previously, and I hope you did, and making something out of it. Then it's also going back to the 5 Cs. Once the videos are there, it's having targeting videos that you can run to your audience, and then having those conversation starters. Sales pages, you want to have like the messenger bot um, or a chat bot pop up like after 15 seconds of them viewing the page or almost immediately.
Mhm.
Just getting those conversations flowing to get them to take the call to action by the event.
Yeah.
And if that's based on the same offer that got people there last time, like 100+ people, then you know it's going to work this time too, because it compounds and it scales and it gets better and better.
That's
Yes,
good, man.
word of mouth.
I love it. I love it. And then how does video marketing, viral video marketing, how does that work in with someone's existing strategies? Let's say they already do, like they write blog posts.
Yeah.
They feel like they're putting their ton of time and energy into these other strategies. They have Facebook groups, different things like that. How does this cooperate and collaborate with what they already have going on?
Well, I mean, if they're like a website, like let's say they're like a health business. I mean, if they have blog posts on certain like supplements or certain ingredients, or if they're like a beauty product line, I mean, you can do like beauty tutorials. You can make videos and run ads to them, right? Show makeup kits, flash through it, make it big fancy text, right? You've seen all these ads before. E-commerce, Shopify stores, just selling product, right? So you can make those and push it through, or do affiliate-based promotions as well if it's an actual person, right? And it depends if they're influencer-driven or thought leader-driven. It's a very fine line between the two. And so basically, if they have a lot of articles and blogs, it's making content that can be also put on the blogs and articles to drive more video view traffic. And then from there, retarget them further with that pixel, with the right pieces. Those pieces are, again, the story videos, the process of the program, course, etc., live event, and then really making sure that these words, these phrases, the psychology is being put on their radar. That's very important too. It sounds kind of evil in a way when I say that, but it's truly what marketing is, right? You're trying to get people to become obsessed with you. That's why so many people in like the health world or like the self-help personal development world have such great attention, right? Like Brendon Burchard, Russell Brunson. You see these ads from them, even for their books, where they're incredible. And the videos are done where it's like, whoa, this book looks amazing. I got to order it and pay the shipping. So that's a pretty cool way of doing things too. But going back to your question, you turn your blog posts and your articles into videos that you can record. And look, you can make viral videos very simple. And a good example is, and I'm going to switch topics on this for 2 seconds. I just finished working on some viral videos for a client of mine. We shot them out in Puerto Rico when we were there. Because right now we're in Malta, and this is where we're living for the next 6 to 12 months. Yeah, it's Malta's cool if you haven't been there. It doesn't look grand here. I'm in the second bedroom because we had cleaners here. But basically, she wrote the scripts. We got the camera, we filmed, and she just read line. Katya read the line out to her, and then she says it line by line. And then basically you find, because it's going to be clipped, right? You have to jump cut the video. It's not one full take where you have a teleprompter, which is another option, where they read it at the right speed. But this version, you literally, one phrase could be said individual on camera, and it's panning in, right? And then it switches to B-roll and stock footage. And then every next phrase and line of the script is literally just spoken at their own pace in a way where they feel comfortable. You don't have to have this like, okay, I got to memorize the script. It's 3,000 words. I'm going to forget something, right? Like it's so hard to do video that way when you're trying to be viral.
Yeah.
Or if that's just someone standing in front of a camera, right? Simple way. But yeah, to go back on what you asked me, blogs and articles, you want to make simple videos. You can do it the way I just said, and you have some footage, some B-roll that you can get, and you put it together. And there's your content. Promote it. Make it a video ad. Goes back to the blog. Then push the like an affiliate product, and then there you go. Makes more sales.
How do people stand out in an ever-increasing video saturated platform? Facebook has a lot of videos in it. How do people stand out amongst everyone else who's making videos?
Well, it's kind of the same thing. I can actually talk about this because it goes back to what I talked about earlier. We launched a product on December 22nd, and in 2 weeks' time, we sold 1,000 of them. It was content basically we titled it viral content templates. It's a bundle of templates for Instagram and social media that you can use that are pre-done, swipes and templates that you just put your information in for your business. Like if you talk about health, like know your content, but fill it in, saves you time, lets you post it. Look, the biggest objection on that one, for instance, was, but my content's going to be the same. And then we're like, listen, if you're in New Zealand and Sally in West Virginia is making a post, I don't think both of you are going to see the same content being driven on social media. Like, it's just not feasible that way. Maybe it's possible, but the point is, if you make, it's not just the content, right? It's who you are. It's like, what is your story? How do you connect with your audience? Like, what is it that you actually solve? You know, it's like if you do 8 things, it's not good. If you're already niche down, cool. How do you go further? How do you improve the quality of the service and the product? That's the big thing this year. Improve the quality, make it look good. Yeah. So I think that's the key player here. That's the big important part of it.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
Yeah.
So moving into 2020, dude, we're already, kicking it off, second week of the year, going into that. What do you see as a big priority or top priorities for you growing your company, reaching more people, impacting more people with viral video and everything you guys got going on?
I think the big key importance here is, for us at least, I like to follow what works. For me especially, I specifically niched myself down to just making story-driven viral videos and only credibility reels. And I want to be known as that guy because that's it. Mainly credibility reels because I think there's so many people out there who have a great message, but they just suck at video and they hire the worst people to make it. I'm going to be flat out honest here. I know people who make great video. They make great ads. They do things for certain parts of the video realm that I just don't know how to do it. Right. I won't say can't, but I'm not there yet. But here's the thing. I'm more of like a creative. I'm a creator who does a lot of the post production, and these people are full blown. They have the whole freaking camera studio, like 6 gimbals and like 8 people. Hey, cool, I get that. Like we have a videographer in the UK. We fly him in for whatever's needed, right? And he has the gimbal, the drone, the this, the that. Yeah. So why buy all that when we can just fly him in? He does that, and then I do the post production on it because there's 2 different sides. Yeah. The big thing I'm focused on this year, that we're focused on, is this viral content bundle. These templates. They're not video driven, so it's kind of like, but it's viral related, which is why I'm talking about it. But it's not video driven yet. So the thing is, I'm pushing that this year because we brought this to a market where people seriously needed it, where people have searched everywhere for different templates on the creative market, on Nevada, all this stuff, and they couldn't find it. And then we brought a product to the market and it just exploded. We got 80 plus affiliates helping us promote it for a 50% commission, brought in 1,000 plus customers, and it took us 3 days to set this up with the front end and the back end. And now we're running paid traffic. And here's where it does get relatable even further. I put together some video ads with templates that just fly through and have awesome animations. You should see the results on those things. We're targeting ads for like £1 of conversion on a $30 product on a pre-sale. So now it's insane. So basically, that's the focus this year. It's building this business up. But I also want to drive in some more. I want to drive in more credibility to clients and really drive these pieces where they tell the story. They allow them to be seen by these big events, and it can explain everything they do, and then they can actually be hired for future talks on stage or podcast appearances, etc. So it's helping big brands grow. I want to have about 3 clients where the retainer's at the right spot. I'm going to have one now, which is great, where it's, but I want a couple more where basically they can, it's easy to focus on less and not have more. Yeah. That's just my motto this year. Less is more. Focus on what works and have fun.
Well,
long explanation.
What you said earlier, no, it's perfect. What you said earlier was the brands and the companies and the mission, the vision that you believe in, that you're aligned with, like that is what you want to invest your time and energy into. It's like, am I going to spread my time and energy into, thousands, tens of thousands of people? Maybe. And in terms of like building up momentum, making a big, deep impact, it's like find those people who are already on fire and say, hey, I want to link up and turn your fire into an inferno, or turn your water, your river into a geyser, into a, a massive tsunami or whatever it might be, like of impact. And I think that when we take the mindset of it's almost like for me, it's becoming a better servant, so to speak, for people who have a message, who have gifts to give to the world. How do I help this person get those out even more effectively? How do I impact these people even more deeply with what I already have, instead of a scarcity mindset, which is I have to go find more and more and more new clients, which there's value to that. Like, let's be real. And if that is not working, if the constant like hamster wheel to get more clients isn't working for you, find out how you can go deeper with the people that you already have. How can you add more value? How can you really make a even deeper transformation in their lives?
Yeah, and that's what I was doing back in December because I set this insane goal for my Q1 goal this year was a X number. And
Yeah.
what's funny enough is based on this content bundle we did, this promo, this pre-sale. And like it's been proven as a product, right? People want it. We actually in total sold the exact number I set for Q1.
Wow.
And like that's just revenue. Yeah, it's messed up, right? So I'm not kidding, and I'm not going to talk numbers because like it's just it's good though.
Yeah.
For 2 weeks time, and the number evaluation, if it was consistent like that, would be almost like I don't know, it's near a million. I'm like holy crap. So it's like basically this is a viable product. People want it. But yeah, it's also about checking. For me, it was checking. Like I need to get more. I need to get more clients back in December because it was kind of like a slower period.
Mm-hmm.
And so I reached out to everybody and I had like a list of 20 leads in a matter of like half a week or maybe a week. I don't really know the timeline, but it's like now I have more clients and that are the right fit.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because I've talked to them about their vision and where they're going, and that's the thing. That's how I know if it's the right fit for me. Because if it doesn't sound like they know where they're going or they just want a couple edits, I mean, that's cool if you need as many projects as possible, but it's the real value packed clients that are able to that just know what they want, and that's what's going to push the needle forward.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
I love it.
And I'm happy, excited.
Dude, you're crushing it, Jamie. Tell us more about what people can do to stay connected with you, how to get in contact with you, how they can even find out more about getting a sizzle reel, highlight reel as speakers. How can they do that, man?
Yeah, so if you're looking for actual videos that are viral driven, story driven, credibility driven, highlight reel driven, list goes on. What we spoke about today, jamienudelman.com. You can go there and you can learn more, see some of my work. And if the viral content template bundle piqued your interest as well, you can go to viralcontenttemplates.com. You get that there.
I'm going to put that in there. And while I'm putting that in there, it's viralcontentbundle.com.
No, it's right now it's viralcontenttemplates.com. You can grab that, and then that's just like social media content stuff. It's almost like just on the blank templates, and then there's obviously my site for reaching out for the video related services. So
boom. I love it. And just some social proof for you, Jamie. Annika said, amazing tips and tools for everyone trying to gain visibility, which is key to successful business. Thank you, Jamie. So great job, Jamie. And let's bring it home with a final takeaway. What do you want to drive home for our audience today, man? What do you want to leave them with to take action, to be, do, and have in 2020?
I think it's, I mean, I feel like every year there's always this like obsessive thing, like it's the new year, new me, like you see all this stuff. I want people, and this is in general, anyone who's an entrepreneur to understand that the year is always the same. Things are always going on. You're either going to be reactive to something or you're not. You're going to love something. You're going to hate something. This is just a normal flow of life. It's up and down. That's how the planet works, how life works. It's just how it is. Less attention to the BS, more attention to how you can elevate. If people don't like that, goodbye. Those are now considered legacy folks. You have to talk to them. They're from the past. They message you about their cat. Cool. Put a thumbs up, walk away. Focus on the things that are going to make you money and focus less on the things that are going to distract you, even if it feels comfortable, because I promise you, every single person does it, even those who are successful and make millions. So just a reminder, stay on track. If something goes wrong, it's cool. Understand it, feel it out, and give yourself a pat on the back. I mean, you're here watching this.
I love it. Jamie, you're a champion, man. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your wisdom with us. And again, everyone go to jamienudelman.com, and that's JamieNudelman.com, and check out Jamie's stuff and everything he's up to. Appreciate you, brother. Keep doing the great work that you're doing, man.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you soon. Okay.
All right, ciao.